Here's the last video, and in the description I will put the link to the Sports Gene video series and a link to the video series that proves I'm the top martial artist. Okay. Never forget that the opposition view is really the gender-neutral Baphomet view. Just garbage. Okay? Just utter scum. This particular LGBT community in the occult. Now we look at the idea of the figurehead. They're thinking in terms of the figure. And the Western community, the Western society, does not take it seriously. They say that's just a figurehead. They don't take the idea of connecting mind, body, and soul together seriously, and we see this in the gym community and how the West takes it, right? These are muscleheads. These are knuckleheads, and it is the gym community that is being put in front and center in the martial arts world, so to speak, and they are fucking cowards with no heart at all. Big fucking pussies, okay? Moving on. When we look at the devil as the Lord of the Flies, right? The most powerful person in this world in terms of worldly power. What are the flies? You have the dragon fly. You have the horse fly. Remember, martial arts, horse scale, Trojan horse, crazy horse, and all these other horse connections we see in popular culture. We have the common fly, and it has everything to do with shit, right? Flies and shit pretty much go hand in hand. So the Lord of the planet of shit, if that's not bad enough, the Egyptians who wore thongs, so to speak, you know, kind of looked at the scarab rolling a ball of dung to represent the reproductive cycle when the true sun temple looked at the sun. So they were rolling a ball of dung, and they were looking at the night sky as cowards, just utter pussies, no heart, just don't listen to them. You know, anybody who's not speaking, anyone else speaking about Egypt, who's not in the divine order, who I haven't told to do so, don't listen to them. They're cowards. They're despicable mage pussies. Anyway, there is no working against them from the inside to overthrow them. All they're doing, all everyone else is doing really, because they're all in their order, they're in infrastructure, it's just making it easier for themselves and whoever they are trying to help, right? Making the effects of being complicit with evil, you know, less harsh, you know, is what they're doing. There's no truly doing God's work from the inside. Okay, you know. So we look at this thing. We look at the design and the divine order. It proves my point. We look at the idea of timing and the martial arts principles. Martial arts from the Western perspective is to lead solicitously, to lead people in a worldly manner in terms of their sexual urges. And yes, every culture in the world, including the Igbos themselves, which perhaps have the most noble culture because of their proximity to the Eri cult center, okay, is basically leading people in a worldly manner. This goes back to the idea of teammates, right? Why they're wrong, why you can't work this thing from the inside, right? E-time is part of the word play, and the word mate, right? Shipmate, teammate, E-time, right? When you lose the capstone, it is over. Forever the world is stuck on the E, on stupid, effeminate, evil, and so on, right? Equal, right? Equals the spirit, right? The spirit of the Lord. When someone tries to rise in the spirit of the Lord, a bunch of E-birds tries to stop them. Okay. You also have the ordering the worst prisoner effect. If you wait to free the prisoners to the point when only the worst serial killers and serial rapists and people who are completely batshit crazy with hereditary insanity, okay, are around, all you're doing is ordering the most despicable scum that God despises, and they're hell spawn for every generation. It's lost. It's over. So I call that the ordering the worst prisoner effect. I also call it the modern day plantation effect, where you're waiting to all the martial artists who are fighting for honor, you know, and all that is right. Again, this shows you how they exaggerate my forehead, okay? You know, the top martial artists, you know, fight for honor and all that is right. I have another one talking about how they drug me and so on. Okay, all you're doing is waiting till all the heroes, all the people worth saving are gone, and a bunch of house niggas, a bunch of feeble field kind of brain dead, kind of stupid black people, you know, are left, and some overseer scum. Fuck you gonna save them for? That's like what you saving Lex Luthor from Superman? And what's the point? Okay, it's fucking stupid. It's stupid. Okay. Anyway, even the word slave is wordplay for slay-vi. Slay-vi, right? That's why he's a slave, because he's not rising up before time, right? Before it's too late to fight these people who are controlling them, which includes controlling their reproduction, right? Do I really have to explain to you that slaves have their reproduction controlled? So if you're a modern day slave, your reproduction's controlled. I don't want to hear anybody saying that they have love when they're and then say that there is modern day slavery. Just shut the fuck up, you know? Anyway, the broken good person effect is also what we see, right? Also, when we look at this thing and we look at intelligence, it is stupid. It is despicable to pretend that people who don't even have the willpower to rise in the divine order, or even as uncontrolled opposition, are more intelligent than those that do. It's like saying some coward who has the upper hand is like, yeah, I'm a bitch, you know, acting tough. Yeah, you better do it. Some pussy, right? He has more willpower, God's will, the will as the watcher of the body. How stupid is that? This is the kind of bitch shit that I put up with every day. It's kind of just sissies everywhere. Oh, lip service bitches, right? You give lip service to God and you suck off Uncle Sam's goat dick and you think that, somehow you're a decent person, just fucking, it's just stupid. Anyway, we look at love, the word love, right there. It's in the word, L-O-Vi. Okay? Are you uncontrolled? Are you in love with somebody who's uncontrolled? No. Then it's not love, right? You're attached. It's not love in terms of this divine, feeling. It is you're attached to this kind of lukewarm e-bird bitch shit. If you are attracted to if you are extremely attracted to some some controlled bitch, it's not love. How could it be? Can somebody love Lex Luthor? It's also this despicable stuff that the comic books propagate. Can some female love the Penguin? Can some female love Lex Luthor? There are dumbasses who think that they can. And they dress up like vampires and all kinds of goons and occult bitches every day. That's not love. It also goes back to who spends their life searching for love. I spent my life searching for love and studying women. So I know they're cowards. So I know they're empty vessels. Okay? And who accepts conformity? How are you not going to have your priorities straight? God is love, right? The Creator is love. Anything other than that is not the Creator's spirit. You're in this empty worldly nonsense. Oh, let's look to the universe. Let's look to the dung that the scarab is pushing. It's fucking stupid. It's dumb. It's just, it's inferior. I can't highlight enough, they are inferior forms of life. Let's face it. If that is your path, it is a lower path. It is an inferior path. You think the lower path is superior? It's inferior. You're inferior. You're walking an inferior path. How can you say you're not inferior? What are you, an idiot? It's like a sprinter who's running like a turtle. The turtle piece of hair, I swear. The hair sitting at the finish line way ahead of him like, he's a fucking coward. He's a fucking pussy. He's a shell. He's an empty vessel. He's an empty shell. What the fuck are we talking about here? Okay? It's inferior. The elite is inferior. Everyone else is inferior. They're inferior. Okay? Has to be said. Cry about it if you want. All right. Even the word empty. It's wordplay. Remember, the M is the arc, the Mason lever, the 13th letter, 13th floor. It can be removed for many reasons, right? And the bottom line, if the idea is correct, who gives a shit about the wordplay? So let's just throw the wordplay out there. Up, why? Why do it? Why do it the way of the sky god? It's stupid, right? Empty. It's up to my boss. Empty. Okay? It's up to the slave owners. You're an empty vessel. It's up to the God of this world and his satanic minions. I'm a bitch, but I'm going to act tough. You better do it. I'm smart. You're a fucking idiot. Anyway, you look at the top martial arts challenge, right? There were probably more of a dozen people in the comments alone, mind you, who said that they were going to accept and did not accept. Then there were 4 challengers. And none of them scored a fair point on camera. Okay, remember, I did give this guy, for whatever reason, that video was deleted by someone else, not me. I go as far as say it was deleted by them. Where eventually he grazed me with a fingertip to the cheek. Okay, somebody who was throwing fast blows, grazed. So he kind of, I wouldn't say it was the same as him scoring. It was blocking, kind of touching, but I'll go ahead and give him credit, right? That's the closest thing to a fair point that the three challengers scored. The other one was in the mud. Remember, I'm the Skywalker, okay? Horus is my style, and I took on my brother in the mud, and he's basically my sparring partner who is, you know, has a very intimate knowledge of my skills for fucking decades, you know? It's pretty much, that by itself speaks for itself, okay? It then starts to say, hey, you know, you at least got to take this guy seriously. So then we also have the guy to beat effect. We have the thousands of videos, explanations, right? This guy is the type of person who takes these ideas, secret societies, psychiatry, martial arts, right? He explores them for thousands of videos for 10 fucking years. Illuminati Part 1. ISIS, Horus, and Amun-Ra. You think I didn't know Horus was the war god at that point? You think that wasn't the beginning of exploring martial arts ideas on the internet? You know, in terms of the first official video? That's August 31st, I believe, was 2009. We're now in October, I think it's 2nd, 2018. Going on 10 years. Okay, exploring these ideas effectively. And martial arts is mind, body, and soul. And of course, you know, let's not forget the body that has been forged. I show you, you know, I'll go ahead and put it on the screen at this point. 1997, okay? So, for over 20 years, I have been a grand champion. Read this thing, right? Grand champion, right? Being a grand champion martial artist makes being a grand master mason look like a bitch. In fact, they are bitches, okay? I was a grand, you know, before I was even an adult, I was above the highest mason in spiritual truth. They can kiss my fucking ass, okay? Anyway, moving on. You look at the lack of humility is addressed, right? You say, well, why aren't you humble? You know, I have to declare my rightful place. In the absence of somebody giving me my rightful place so I can lead, I have to declare my rightful place. Is there any way to be seen as humble by Western bitches when you're trying to prove that you're the top martial artist? No. Look at the kind of the Lord of the Flies. Again, the devil is the Lord of the Flies. Okay, the naked eye. The fly doesn't fly that high to the naked eye. And of course, it goes back to the Garden of Eden, the naked eye. It also goes back to the leopard spots. The leopard can't change his spots. Are we just talking about the spots on his body? Or is it also true that he cannot change where he's going to go? Okay, where is the leopard accepted, right? And it also goes back to sub-Saharan Africa as the roaming ground of the leopard. And when we look at these martial arts, do we see a bunch of black-skinned Egyptians or kind of pale white Asian-looking guys? So if there's leopards in Asia, the snow leopard, blah, 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 these are different leopards, okay? And they're in a different location, and they don't look like the guys on the thing, bottom line, right? You see this huge Narmer, huge guy, you know, so on and so forth. It's safe to say he had a bunch of tall children and so on. Anyway, moving on. You trust your senses when it comes to love, but you don't trust that a competition of senses through sparring, spirit, isn't how to truly understand God. It's fucking stupid, right? It goes back to the figurehead argument. You know, they don't take their own mind, body, soul seriously. You know, all throughout the history of their culture. Why my culture is based on this martial mind, body, soul culture. So moving on, by not being a serious people, they're pretty much disqualified. If you're not a serious person, if you're just kind of American playful, ooh, dude, you know, kind of at a fucking barbecue or something, you just happen to take martial arts, you know, you're never gonna, you know, you're not top martial artist material, right? It's like in the military, you know, when this is a serious matter, okay? So it's kind of like a military mind state, something to that effect, versus this kind of civilian, you know, kind of joking around, kind of, no one who jokes around is going to be the top martial artist, okay? Look at the sports rivalry, okay? America has a sports rivalry. Why? Because they're saying that the culmination of their culture is that these sports guys. So they had every reason to beat me. They're avoiding, my argument is a form of concession. Think fight or flight. The Falcon, right, kind of effect with me living in the hells, right? I went to town, kind of had a problem, kind of came back, kind of cultivated seriousness. It also goes back to Narmer, right? Necking is kind of close to the border to Nubia, and versus